Hello everyone, good evening, welcome. It feels like a State of the Union brief tonight because I wanted to come on tonight specifically to talk about the future of Zelda and why I think maybe, just maybe, we're in a very crucial next few months and couple of years, really. Without further ado, let's talk about the future of the Legend of Zelda. One of the things I wanted to kind of touch on was, of course, this Age of Imprisonment, which concerns me slightly because what we're looking at here is effectively Nintendo's new strategy, which is basically to put what I feel are filler titles in between new titles. So I'm not a massive fan of the Hyrule Warriors series. I think while they fill the gap between mainline releases, so while we have a massive gap between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, for example, we had 6 years in between those titles. Age of Calamity, which came out in 2021, I believe, it kind of fills the gap for people who are looking for kind of some Zelda content to come out. However, the issue with these games is they take liberties with the story that I fear make light of kind of the story that we had going into the games. So with Age of Calamity, one of the big issues with Age of Calamity was that there were too many new characters introduced that for some reason were irrelevant in Breath of the Wild. And I know that Age of Calamity was made after Breath of the Wild was made, so I understand that, but I think if we want to be really serious about these games, we have to make sure that we treat them with respect. The other thing is, with Age of Imprisonment, there are two main kind of issues here. So one is, this is a Korok that we have never heard about once in Tears of the Kingdom, and then this construct that I think might be Link, it's not 100% clear. This might be some sort of construct version of Link that they're introducing into the game. We didn't hear about these in Tears of the Kingdom, and trust me, we heard a lot of Tears of the Kingdom because we had quite a lot of story in that game. And I just feel that while it's cool that they're using the Hyrule Warriors game to tell stories of things that we don't properly know, I'm not sure that this is the way of doing it. I'm just not convinced. Anyway, Age of Imprisonment releases in November, 6th of November, and the official kind of Nintendo standpoint is that this is the untold story of the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Experience the epic battles of the imprisoning war firsthand in Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, only for Nintendo Switch 2. And there we have all the sages and the goat herself, Zelda, standing there. We're going to battle hordes, that's hordes with a D, of enemies. Fight the war for ancient Hyrule. Step onto the battlefield as Princess Zelda, King Rauru, and other legendary heroes as you fight to reclaim your homeland and live the story of the Demon King Ganondorf's invasion. Princess Zelda is not alone in this war. Join Minoru, the sages, and even some brand new heroes in battles against Ganondorf's forces. And it's this line that I do not like, because in Tears of the Kingdom we saw flashbacks of the battles. There were no brand new heroes. If there were brand new heroes, we would have known about them in Tears of the Kingdom. Combine powerful sword devices with your hero signature abilities to take down powerful bosses and their legions of minions. We can team up with a friend, but because I have none, that doesn't work for me. Compatible with Amiibo, great, and then obviously you get a bonus if you have save data from Tears of the Kingdom or Hyrule Warriors. And the price of this game, which you can't see because it's hidden behind my head, £58 and 99 pence. Wow. And we know there's Koroks in the Zelda games, but yes, that to me, I'm not sure about introducing new characters. And I know that they try and treat them with so much respect because they go out of their way to make these cutscenes that are full of like voice acting and things, and it kind of is cool. But this is not, Hyrule Warriors is not like a Zelda game. If I bring up the trailer, the latest one, but if you see, I mean, the game looks really smooth. Don't get me wrong. Like I think this is something to look forward to in terms of how well it runs on Switch 2, and we see that with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But too many moments of this game feel like why are we only learning this from like a side game? That's my biggest gripe with all of this. Like, there's so many parts of this that I'm like, this could have been in Tears of the Kingdom, and it could have been unbelievable, and it would have made Tears of the Kingdom an even better game. But yeah, look, it runs smoothly and it looks pretty smooth. I'm not running though at 4K. Come on, let's get some 4K-ness going on here. And there's the wee Korok that Meg loves, and then we've got Minoru there with her devices. But another problem I have with Hyrule Warriors games is this is not really realistic to what they would have they wouldn't have been fighting this many enemies so quickly over and over again. Like, this just wouldn't have happened. Which I'm like, ugh. Stop thinking too deeply about it, you idiot. Basically is what I'm saying to myself. But it looks cool. I hope it's good, but I just don't love that this is the direction that we're going for Zelda as a franchise. Especially whenever on Friday during the Nintendo Direct, the first 20 minutes was dedicated to Mario. We like Mario. Mario's a good boy, but we had 20 minutes of Mario's 40th anniversary stuff, which obviously is a big deal. For any franchise to get to 40 years, is obviously a big deal. However, Zelda is getting to 40 years in April, so we're only 6 months away from Zelda's 40th anniversary, and I would be surprised, pleasantly surprised, if Zelda got a release next year. I think we're ramping up towards this movie coming out in 2027, and I think the movie is actually kind of vital for where the future of Zelda is going to go. So the movie comes out in, I think it's May 2027. It's a live action film, but the issue that we have is that there are so many things that I just do not think Zelda translates necessarily into a movie. So things like the core gameplay experience of Zelda has always been about the dungeons, and the dungeons is always about going into the level. You have to collect the map, the compass, get through all the doors, small keys, etc., and then face the boss. That doesn't translate into any form of media. Whereas for the likes of The Last of Us and God of War, it absolutely does, because those games are tailor-made, like proper good stories. So that's why those all work. But yeah, I fear that Zelda is at a not a crisis point, but it's at a point of where we were in 2015. Before this bad boy got announced. So I'm just playing this in the background just for your eyes to get some sort of fun experience other than just my face. But when Breath of the Wild was announced in 2015, or 2013, sorry, when it was announced in 2013, Zelda was at a bit of a crisis in that after Skyward Sword released, people were saying that Zelda felt a bit stale. It felt like I needed something new, and it felt like I needed a new direction, which were all totally valid points and points of view. And then Breath of the Wild came out and changed the perception of Zelda as a whole. But since then, we've had to wait longer for games to come out. So Breath of the Wild was of course released in 2017. Tears of the Kingdom was released in 2023 after being delayed by over a year. The rumours are that the next mainline 3D Zelda game will not be released until 2028 or 2029. So again, that's 5 to 6 years of a gap between mainline releases. Hyrule Warriors is not a Zelda game. It's a spin on a Dynasty Warriors, which is a well-known kind of hack and slash beat 'em up franchise. So, you know, it's not Zelda related. If they did bring out a new game, what do you think it would be? So I think the next 3 years of Zelda kind of look like this. So I think obviously we get Hyrule Warriors, which I thought was going to come out early next year, but it's actually coming out in November. I think that means that we might get some sort of 2D Zelda game at the back end of next year. What that is, I'm not 100% sure. So whether that's like some sort of remake, whether that's like a link between worlds, link to the past, that kind of thing, reimagined, it could be that. But also then, I think the next 3D game we're going to get is an Ocarina of Time remake. So I don't think we're going to get a new Zelda game. So we're looking at 4 releases because of Echoes of Wisdom in between the mainline releases. So that's not great for one. If then we get a new Zelda game, Meg, as you've asked, what would it look like? I think the next Zelda game needs to be another iteration, so something different. I think if you're going to do another open world Zelda game, then it needs to be in a new world, or a different iteration of Hyrule. It can't be the same as this and Tears of the Kingdom. If we get, for example, like a 3D Zelda game, like a traditional one, then I think it'll be something more akin to Skyward Sword or even Twilight Princess. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But I don't think the game can just be same old, same old. Like, it needs to be something new and fresh. If we look at like what we saw yesterday, like, to me, the reason I felt no excitement about the Mario announcements was because, like, we've had Mario Tennis on every console, so that's kind of like, right. Mario Galaxy is probably a better reveal. That's coming out to be able to be played on the Switch. I think that's quite good. But then, like, the Yoshi game looks really cute and all, but I think it's probably more for kids than for my, like, I don't think I would get much joy out of it. I think other people will. I would hate for Zelda to become, like, one-dimensional as such, where, like, it's just the same thing over and over again. Like, to me, that's just boring and pointless. Part of thinks they're starting to run out of ideas, which I think the gaming industry as a whole is running out of ideas, because, like, so many successful games at the minute are remakes. So the AAA gaming space is really struggling with identity and ideas. And I think that's shown in the fact that the 2 likely candidates for Game of the Year this year are Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and Hollow Knight Silksong, both of which were developed by extremely small development teams. people who have passions about what they want to do, and not these big companies that are looking to generate a profit. If we look at the classic franchises, like Assassin's Creed Shadows was about 6 out of 10 at best. Call of Duty's just coming out with the same stuff every year. We're in a really interesting space at the minute where the indie studios or the AA studios are coming up with better products than the long-standing AAA studios, and I think that is in part because people are starting to run out of ideas, and that's to be expected, but yeah, it's a little bit concerning, I think. And as you said, the indie games, like even Sword of the Sea, I think did quite well. Blueprints did very well for itself. It's an indie game as well. It's the AA or the indie studios that are coming up with like the better product. A lot of people really like Donkey Kong Bonanza. I didn't, and I think that's because it just wasn't for me. Again, but I feel like I'm saying that a lot without, how much of it is a reflection of me and how much is it a reflection of Nintendo themselves. So, yeah. But on Zelda itself, we are, I think, at a bit of a crossroads in terms of its future. Like, we're at a stage now where it's hard for me to see how we can get to the stage of carrying on the momentum, because at the end of the day, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are like two of Zelda's highest selling games ever, and both games have generated a whole new fan base. Like, really, I'm only making videos on Zelda because of the success of those games, that they generate the audience. Do you know what I mean? But my worry is that those people that love these games are only interested because of the open world style, and that's great. But if the next big Zelda game isn't a 3D open world Zelda game, are those people going to pick up and play? Probably not. So that's where my concern is. Like, I would love to not feel so pessimistic, but after the trailer of Age of Imprisonment yesterday, then it just made me, I just felt a level of like, oof, like we're doing the same thing again. Like that's where I felt concerned mainly. So we'll see how I feel, but hopefully I'm wrong, which can happen sometimes. Who knew? And then actually we all live happily ever after the end. Amen. And like, I love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Well, Breath of the Wild more so. So it's not, I don't have a problem with these games. I just don't think we can release this again. It needs to be something different. It needs to be something new. So we'll see. I know Aonuma is very keen on player freedom, very keen on players having authority over their decisions, and that the game shouldn't railroad you into doing a certain thing unless you want to do it, which is, admirable. Is it realistic though? Probably not. There's very few games that offer the level of freedom that this game does. There really is. And then when you add the building mechanic, Tears of the Kingdom, you have even fewer games that offer that freedom. So yeah, but what is next? The answer is we don't know, because we didn't get any announcements yesterday, which I was disappointed with. I can't understand for the life of me, and I am biased, but like, I can't understand for the life of me why, like, Mario and Pokemon gets like so much love, and like both of those franchises got at least 3 announcements yesterday, didn't they? Because they announced that weird Pokemon. What was it called? Pokemon like I don't know, Pokino or something. I can't remember what it was called. And then they have obviously Legend ZA, which I mean looks good, but again I'm not really much of a Pokemon player. And then they announced a paid DLC before the game even released, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then with Mario we had the movie, the Galaxy stuff, Tennis Fever and Yoshi. So we had 4 Mario announcements. So between those two franchises we had 7 announcements, and we had what I feel was like one of the worst trailer or like release date trailers I've ever seen. That Metroid Prime 4 release date trailer. If I was a Metroid fan, I would feel so disrespected. I'd be like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I would feel pretty sad. But yeah, it was disappointing because I wasn't expecting more from necessarily from a Zelda standpoint, because obviously they're not gonna undermine Age of Imprisonment at all, but it's not a proper Zelda game, so you know. Yeah. The issue I think they have as well, actually, just thinking about kind of the title of this video, is you're in a position where you're almost, and this is not like 100% the case, but it's almost like your worst enemy, because these games are so good. The expectation is going to be that the next mainline release is just as good as this, and that just will not. I just don't think that's sustainable, and I do think that's why they're spending so long between games. Like, there's no surprise to me that it took them that long to make Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, yes, they had to build out the depths and then the sky, but there wasn't that many Skylands in the first place. And again, we know it took 6 years because I've been banging on about it, but the point is, like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are probably considered to be 2 of the greatest gaming experiences out there. Like, they've been in the same conversation as Elden Ring, The Witcher 3, Ocarina of Time. Like, all those games that are cult classics, like, in 20 years' time, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will be spoken about as, like, the 2 of the great gaming greats. It's of course natural that there will be a come down in some way from that position, but also you have to sustain the momentum, and that just hasn't been done. So yeah, disappointing. Age of Imprisonment will have plenty of content on the channel, obviously, and also I have not announced this on here, so I will. This year I'll be doing a Zelda Realm Advent Calendar. Every day in December you will be getting a video or stream, so one of the two. The plan is to basically make short daily videos for you to enjoy in December, and hopefully it will be a good time. In November, no doubt there will be Age of Imprisonment content and stuff all about it, and you know, covering the major news and doing theory videos and all that kind of thing, so that'll definitely be there to enjoy as well. And there'll be streams of Age of Imprisonment and all that kind of stuff, so we can look forward to that coming up very soon. Whoa, get wrecked, bro. Boom! There's also a new feature on YouTube, which I need to check on my end if I need to turn it on, called Hype. And basically how it works is, If you're a small channel like me, so it's open for channels between 500 and 500,000 subscribers. If you're a small channel like I am, and somebody chooses to hype my video, so you can redo it in the first 7 days of it being released, I will get what's called hype points on the video. As a smaller channel, so as someone with closer to 500 subscribers, each individual hype is worth more to me as a channel in points than it would be for someone who has, let's say, 100,000 subscribers. So hype is more important for my channel. So basically, it's like a good free way to support me, in that you can hype my videos and it'll help them get pushed out. I think that's how it works. I'm not 100% clear on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But that could be something that will really help me in the next few weeks. So yeah, the hype thing, it's free. You get three uses a week, so you can use a hype 3 times a week, and it resets on a Monday. And yeah, it just helps small channels out, basically. It's a way for your audience to try and help your videos get pushed. If in future you're liking the videos, then the best way to help me, I think, is going to be able to hype. So there you go. That will do today's video. Well, thank you so much for watching, sticking around, being a part of the community. Really appreciate you all, and I will see you all very, very, very soon. Au revoir. Bye.